Okay, today I want to show you two tools. One is called the Spot Healing Brush. And it takes away little things that are in your way, or even like it's really good for power lines and stuff like that. So you notice in this picture there's some power lines in there. Okay, so if you look up here, you see we have power lines at the top, right? And we want to get rid of those, especially when there's just a little bit. So if you go down here to a little symbol that looks like a Band-Aid, and you go to Spot Healing Brush. You don't want the Healing Brush tool, you want the Spot Healing Brush. So if you click on that, your cursor is going to turn into a brush. So you want to make it a little bit bigger than the area you want to brush. And all you do with this is it's as if you're brushing across and erasing things. So this is how quick and easy it can get rid of lines and stuff. Now usually it's better than that. So let's go across here, get that. And we'll come back and get that. We can come and do little pieces, or you can do it all at once. Usually it's better on your computer if you do it in little pieces. And now you see that those are gone. Super fast and easy, right? And also down here, if I make this bigger, you'll notice that there's some white spots that I don't like. So I'm going to just come in. Rather than using the clone stamp to get rid of them, I'm just going to come over, and Photoshop tries to figure out what you want to replace those spots with. And it figures out really well that there's areas around it that you can fill it in with to make it match the background. So really effectively we can take out just those little spots that are a little bit annoying in the picture. I mean, they may be natural, but they're annoying. And so I'm going to get those out. So just little tiny spots, and then I'm going to leave everything else there. I don't want to take the lights out because that's part of the electrical thing that's lit up. Then I want to come back. So that's called the Spot Healing Brush. You use it for little things, not for big giant things, only for little things, but it's really great for power lines and stuff like that. So now I want to show you something called the Camera Raw filter. This is only available in Photoshop CC. So if you have old Photoshops like Photoshop 7 or 6 or any of those, it's not available. It's only available in the Creative Cloud. And it's one of the best things that there is. So if you come under here to where it says Filter, you come down to where it says Camera Raw Filter. So it's under the top where it says Filter, Camera Raw Filter. You click on that. Then you have all of these same kind of different sliders and adjustments that you can make that are available in Camera Raw, which is really awesome. So I can come in, and there are a bunch of different tabs here, but I'm going to pay attention right now just to the first tab, which is really the most important one. So we can come in and we can change it from bluer to warmer. So we can do this, but I want to keep it back at 0, so I'm going to keep it normal. The exposure, I can darken or lighten it. The contrast, I can darken or lighten. So all the stuff that we've talked about doing before, we can do now in Camera Raw. So I'm going to come in and I can do the contrast, which is going to make the darks darker and the lights lighter. And I can adjust the highlights. That's the light areas in your picture. The shadows, I can open those up. Whites are the areas that are almost pure white. Blacks, again, you can darken up shadow areas. These two sliders at the bottom, vibrance and saturation. Now you might think, oh, that's cool. It's got a rainbow in it. Let's make the saturation greater. So if you pump that up, what happens with saturation on photos is it really looks fake and awful. So I would say 90% of the time do not use the saturation slider. Instead, use the vibrance slider. It enriches the colors without looking fake. But we're going to do that after we've done everything else. So first of all, it's dark. So let's lighten it up. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to lighten it way up. Okay? Now you notice this little red area, that's telling me that this is a blown out highlight. So I'm going to take the highlight slider and I'm going to move that down, especially until and the white slider until that goes away. So I no longer have a pure white spot. I still have a highlight, but it's not pure white. Come back up, adjust it again, make it a little brighter, take that white down, and make the image brighter. And so it looks better than what we had originally. Let me take the white down and get that down just a little bit. Okay, there. Now I want to bump the contrast up because I want to make it look richer. Okay? Now, on the highlights, I want more detail here, so I'm going to pull that down and get more detail in that background there. I also want to get detail in this shadow area. So I'm going to open up those shadows by going to the right slider here, and now I can see detail in the grass that wasn't there initially. I think it's a little too light now, so I'm going to come down and darken it a little bit. Okay? Now I'm going to take the vibrance up a bit and get some more richness in that picture. So if I want to see before and after, I can hit the P button on the keyboard for preview. So there's the before and there's the after. Now this red that's shining on here will not be there on your picture when you come back to it. And now I think it's a little bit yellow, so I'm going to move this slider slightly to the left, just slightly to get rid of some of that yellow. Okay? Just a little bit. Don't go too much. Most people cannot see color shifts, tiny color shifts, so be very careful about that. And then I can say, okay, so when I open it now, it has all of those adjustments on it. But you'll notice that there's no layer that shows that, right? So what you want to do instead, we're going to back up and undo that. What we want to do instead is we want to duplicate our background layer. So right-click and go to Duplicate or Control-J. Either one will duplicate the layer. And I'm going to call this Camera Raw. Okay, so I know that I'm now going to go in with that layer selected, and I'm going to go back to Filter, go back to the Camera Raw filter gallery, go in and adjust it again. So I'm going to make it brighter, a little bit bluer, a little more contrast. Take the highlights way down, take the whites way down, open up the shadows like we did before, and add a little bit of vibrance to it to get more color. And take that white down, the highlight down, and then say OK. So now I can undo what I did in Camera Raw by clicking on that. And I can see the difference that I made in that picture because I created a duplicate layer where Camera Raw was put on there. So we made it a whole lot better than it was initially, right? And then after that I can come in and do other adjustments. But really you don't always need to, because Camera Raw should have every adjustment that you might need that will really help you with that. And we'll show you more later. But right now, those are the ones I want you to pay attention to, is the Camera Raw initial adjustments, brightness, contrast, shadows, highlights, etc. All right, so now you're going to save it as a TIFF. File Save As, TIFF, rename it, so I'll call it Rainbow. And Photoshop will automatically add in the extension. I don't need to put that on there. And I'm going to say OK and OK. So now I have it saved as a rainbow. And it's a lot. You notice that that's not red anymore. That was just showing you on the Camera Raw filter what to do. But the Camera Raw filter can be your best friend because you can make little adjustments or big adjustments and completely change the look of your picture to make it much better. Our goal is always to enhance the picture, not to whack it out. We want to make it look better or like our eye saw it, or make it even better than that, but we don't want to make it wacky and overdone. The thing that most new people in working with Photoshop do is they make it too much contrast and too much color. So it starts to look fake, which is what we don't want. Okay? So now I have saved that, so I can close it out. If I go to open it back up, it will have those layers in it and be ready to go again.